Why, hello everybody, it is Kyle from Unboxed Autos, and today I'm excited to be here with you guys as we review the 2023 Mazda CX-50. Now in this video, we're going to go ahead and give you guys a full exterior, interior review. We're going to talk about technology, some of the vehicles it goes up against, and then lastly, we're going to take it for a test drive and just to see how the CX-50 Turbo here performs on the road. Now, first up, we just want to take a quick look here at the front of the vehicle. I really love these signature Mazda LED headlights. I mean, those are really neat. That's a signature design cue right there that Mazda has. Really like that on the CX-50. Looks very bold and forward thinking. Up here, we have this piece, which is a nice color combination. Of course, we have this very bright red combined with some nice black accents here. I really like how this portion protrudes out and gives it a really unique dynamic 3D look. And then as we move on to the front here, of course, we have these cool grille pieces. We have the front view camera right there for the 360-degree view camera that we have here on this top-of-the-line model. And then right here, we also have our radar. So cool fact is that the CX-50, even the most base model, which starts at under $30,000, actually gets the radar cruise control, which is a super great feature. Then, of course, right here, we have this bottom panel, which is a different tone here of silver tone. So we have three different tone colors going on there. I think that looks pretty nice. And then as we continue over here to the side, one of the things that I really like on this model, this top end model here, are these really large 20-inch wheels. These guys look really cool. Nice machine face here. Of course, we have the black accents here with the silver, and it looks really good. Now, just to get a few pricing and specs out of the way, the CX-50 comes in two different powertrain options. So the first one is the 2.5-liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder engine. That cranks out 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque. They are all connected to the same 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, the naturally aspirated 2.5-liter four-cylinder has a maximum towing capacity of 2,000 pounds. And in terms of pricing, you're going to be looking at a base model. The 2.5S model is the base model. Standard all-wheel drive, which is great. And that's going to be coming in at $27,550. And again, radar cruise control is standard on that guy. Now, if you want to pop it up, add a few extra options, you jump up a few trim levels, you're going to be at the 2.5S preferred. Some big changes there are going to be the 10.25-inch display on the interior. That's going to be a nice display. 17-inch wheels, 3-level front heated seats, power liftgate, 8-way power driver's seat, and dual zone climate control. That comes in at just a hair over $30,000 at $30,250. Now, if you really want to go all the way up in terms of the base engine model, what you're going to be looking at there is the 2.5S Premium Plus, $37,150. You have the full power sliding glass panoramic roof, the 12-speaker premium Bose surround sound system, which is absolutely incredible. These 20-inch aluminum alloy wheels with black metallic finish. They're machine cut, as we discussed. And then, of course, we have an active driving display, which is Mazda's version is a heads-up display, and then ventilated front seats. Now, the model that we have here today is the Turbo Premium Plus. Now, the turbocharged engine is going to give us a lot more power. It's a similar 2.5-liter setup, but of course we have a turbocharger on there. It's outputting 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. Again, 6-speed automatic transmission, and towing capacity is increased from 2,000 pounds on the base engine to 3,500 pounds here on the turbocharged model. Now, the Turbo Premium Plus, again, that's what we're looking at here today. It's the top-of-the-line premium model in the turbo lineup. And we're going to have the surround sound Bose speaker system, the active driving display, ventilated front seats, heated rear seats, 360-degree view camera, and wireless phone charging. So obviously a lot of good things going on there in terms of creature comforts. So obviously there is a lot of different packaging here on the CX-50. So they've really made it a very versatile vehicle. Again, in terms of packaging, there's two different engine choices, and of course, a lot of different trim levels. So you really can get, the best of both worlds depending on where you want to enter. Plenty of different features and options. Again, in terms of design, it looks really good. Really honestly has sort of like this station wagon, sort of hatch vibe to it, which I like. And plenty of space. The door openings are quite large. So I like that, if you need to go into the back seat, it opens up a very spacious, easy entry and exit right in here, which I appreciate. I think that's a nice feature. Just in terms of convenience. And then the rear design here, I think it looks really cool. Again, we sort of have these protruding out rear taillights, similar to that in the front bumper, how that kind of looks. Looks neat. We have, of course, the, again, once again, signature LED lighting right here. CX-50 badge, all-wheel drive. Again, across the entire range from the base up to the premium model, they are all all-wheel drive no matter which trim level you choose. The only big difference is going to be the turbocharged again. So this is, of course, the turbo badge right here. So, of course, signifying we have the larger, more potent engine on this guy right here. In terms of cargo space, lots of space back here, very spacious. So, I mean, it's super, super spacious back here, guys. All right, so lots of space. Of course, these fold down 60-40 split rear seats. So if you need to fit even more cargo in there, that's not a problem. You can pop those guys down, no issue. Up here, we have two different options. We actually have the press to lock. So if we want to go ahead and you know, we're getting the bags out of the car, we're all set. We can just press tap that right there. It locks it up. Or you can just, of course, use that to close it if you're not done locking the car yet, if you still have a few things you need to get going on. Down here, we have the dual exhaust. So we have one on each side right here. That is part of the higher trim level model. So we get those two exhaust pipings right there, a little sportier. And yeah, you know, we have some styling accents here on the side panels there. Another thing about this car that's interesting is that, you know, this guy right here, it's really meant as an adventure vehicle. So it's going to be a step up in terms of off-road capability compared to some of Mazda's other models. So this is, you know, going to be meant for that sort of active lifestyle. I can really see this car doing well out in Colorado. You know, you do a lot of mountain biking, canoeing, kayaking. You take it on the trail. You need a little bit of extra ground clearance. Of course, again, across the line, you're looking at that all-wheel drive. So to help with that, what we've done here to make it a little more robust is we've added these plastic paneling now above the wheel arches. So what this is going to do in terms of a few different things, one, it's going to just be, you know, a little bit better and easier to clean up after, you know, along down the trail. You know, if rocks are hitting you, you're not going to totally scratch up all the paint up top. It's going to hit that first. Another thing, if you're dealing with lots of snow, ice, salt, this is going to protect long-term your metal. It won't, you know, rust out over the wheel arches, which can happen, you know, if we're talking about long-term longevity there. But again, you know, I like the size of the car. I think it has a really cool shape to it. The rear flares out in the back here in terms of the design, how it swoops down from the back and flares out here into the top of the door panel, then comes back in nicely right here. So it has that sort of muscular rear look, as you guys can see how it does that nice swooping, flaring out motion. So I think it's a lot more attractive aesthetically than other cars in this segment, in terms of that sort of, you know, hatch, four-door with hatch, so five-door, you know, active lifestyle vehicle. I think we all know some of the main competition in this segment is going to be, you know, from Subaru, big competitor. This car is directly aimed, in my opinion, at some of those vehicles. Now, there is currently no hybrid available, but they are working on it. So they're going to be bringing out, you know, in the next year or so here, 2 years, they're bringing out, you know, more electrified versions of the CX-50. But, you know, this is a pretty complicated segment. There's a lot of different competition here. So, you know, you could even also be looking at, you know, theoretically the Ford Escape or Ford Edge as some competition with this car, as well as, you know, lots of great stuff from Kia, Hyundai as well. So again, it's a pretty flexible price point in terms of, you know, that starting price is just below 30,000, upper is just below 40,000. So there's a ton of different SUVs within this segment. But in terms of, you know, that adventure lifestyle segment, you know, Subaru is going to be a very close competitor here to the CX-50. Now, where I feel like the CX-50 comes and kind of cuts ahead of the competition, it's going to be in driving dynamics and some things on the inside, which we'll get to right now. So push to start, of course. We're going to go ahead and push to start right there. Start it up. Get through that little warning real quick. All right. So one of the things that you'll first notice when you get into the more upscale trim levels here on the CX-50 is this super nice, luxurious interior. And what I really love is you'll first notice it right here with this nice, very soft to the touch leather right here. We also have this cool accent stitching, which is also followed in along with the seats. We have this dual zone climate control. Once again, here you're looking at the heated seats, the cooled seats, all those ventilation features right there. So some nice creature comforts. In terms of the steering wheel, I really like it. It's a 3-spoke design. It feels really good to the touch. High quality leather. We, of course, here have our distance guided cruise control options. We have our steering assist. We have the voice command button, the info button here for the very simple digital gauge cluster. It doesn't have a ton of utility like some other vehicles in the segment have some pretty robust instrument clusters, but they're keeping it simple, keeping it clean and fresh, which I like about the Mazda brand. The interior really also is a nice reflection of that. It's very Audi-esque, if you will. Of course, Mazda does a great job keeping the price point lower than some German brands like Audi, but they I feel like share some of the same design language, keeping it nice and simple and clean, which we really appreciate here about the Mazda. Right here, of course, we do have the, again, signature Bose premium audio system. It's a 12-speaker system. It sounds really, really good, honestly. Very impressed with the sound quality there. And then, again, in terms of design and interior quality, we have this sort of wraparound leather with the stitching here and the door panels as well. Gives it a really nice high-end feeling. And even right in here, below this, it's still really soft to the touch. And then, of course, up here, some cool accents in terms of the color. So, again, really nice job on the design. Definitely the highest quality in the segment for sure. And even the entry-level models still get, this nice similar design. Right here, once again, we have the 10.25-inch display, which you don't need to move up and trim much at all to get this. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, wireless, which is fantastic. So the multimedia system itself is fine, but what you really want, of course, is that wireless CarPlay or Auto from Android, and it does deliver on both of those features, which is fantastic. Yeah, so really nice packaging on the interior. Highly recommend the CX-50. Just such a good packaging in terms of quality, value, and technology on the inside. And yeah, so now we're going to go ahead, though, and take it for a drive, see how it performs on the road. We are sitting here in the more upscale model. This is the top trim level. So in terms, of luxury, we're getting all of those luxury features that we talked about before in terms of the heated seats, cooled seats, heated steering wheel. We have the heads-up driver's display, which is pretty nifty. We also have stop sign recognition, the 12-speaker premium Bose audio system. Really, really good. But it's really, also what's under the hood that matters. You're driving this car every day, and Mazda is, after all, known for offering a sportier driving experience than some of its rivals. And in terms of power delivery, the 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque that we're getting here on the higher output 4-cylinder turbocharged engine really is quite potent. I believe Car and Driver tested this guy at their test track, and they got a 0 to 60 time of just 6.6 seconds, which I don't need to tell you guys is really quite fast, especially for what's really just an everyday SUV with all-wheel drive. So I was really impressed, again, with the power output and the performance of this vehicle. So we're going to go ahead now. We're going to pop it here into sport mode, which is done here by these controls down here. So we go ahead and pop her into sport mode, and then we get a little bit of a different graphic changing here on the gauge cluster. Turns this sort of like red color right there, and it says sport below. So right there, you can kind of see that right there. And then we'll get our cooled seats going a little bit as well. Keep us nice and comfortable in the CX-50. But what we do have here, in terms of competition, I mean, again, you're going to be looking at a lot of different, the Subaru models. You're going to be looking at a few different things from Kia, Hyundai, Ford. So very stiff competition. Once again, this price point quite varied. And so, there's a lot of different options to choose from. But where Mazda is really pulling ahead in the CX-50 are 3 different areas. One area is going to be just the dynamic, different models that you're able to get. It's very dynamic. So you can get, again, very affordable model, or you can go really luxury. And the price difference is quite significant between the top end model, which is, below $40,000 by just a little bit, or, the base model, which is below $30,000 by just a little bit. So tons of different models to choose from, which is really great. 2 awesome engine options. Obviously, the turbo is going to be the one that I would pick. A lot more performance and power. The other one, base engine, isn't really going to give you that sporty driving dynamic, experience that this turbocharged model will give you, but it's going to be a very good, efficient daily driver. Now, once again, even the base model gets that all-wheel drive and distance guided cruise control, which we have here. But, in terms of everyday drivability, which is what I was getting at, this car is actually fun to drive. I mean, you can step on it here, it really gets out, it really gets ahead of itself really nicely. Tons of power. I mean, it really just keeps moving through, the gears, like super fast, great transmission. And that torque, the 320 pound-feet of torque, really just is available at very low RPM range and really just whisks you away. So really tons of power from the engine. Another great thing about this car is the steering feel. Really phenomenal steering feel. You feel what's going on in the road, and as you make those little movements in there. It's not floaty at all. It's not vague. You know exactly where the wheels are. You know exactly how it feels when you're driving it. It's nice and tight as well. So really fantastic. We're going to go ahead there and sort of demonstrate that. The body is also super composed as well. In terms of, again, in other vehicles in this segment, they just don't offer this level of a sporty driving experience that the CX-50 does. Again, you can kind of pull out there. You feel the body just move nicely with the car. Tons of power delivery. And really, again, feels nice to drive. So that's a huge plus, in my opinion. This is a car that you can drive every single day. Have tons of versatility, but it's still nice to drive, unlike frankly, a lot of things in this segment are really boring to drive. This takes the boring out. So it's still, that Mazda, driving dynamics that's really pretty good. And yeah, really impressive, honestly, just with the driving dynamics of this car. Very good for your everyday driver. So yeah, two different engines to choose from. Sporty one right here, more expensive, of course. Or you have your naturally aspirated, 100, I think it was around 184 horsepower, a lot less power. It's going to be, not as fun, but at least you'll still get, the nice, handling capabilities that Mazda does offer in their vehicles. Well, guys, that's all we have for you today on the 2023 Mazda CX-50. Hopefully you've enjoyed this review. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them below. We'd be happy to answer them. Yeah, but once again, guys, final thoughts here on this vehicle is that it is a great option for anybody looking for something that offers a lot of versatility at a great price point. Again, under $30,000, you're getting that all-wheel drive, distance guided cruise control, and then there are plenty of different levels. If you want more power, you can go for the turbocharged engine option, or if you want more luxury too, you can get that. Pretty much very versatile car, which is why I really do like this so much for everyday consumers looking for something that's both versatile and affordable. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, I'm Kyle from Unboxed Autos.